Okay, thank you. Our third inductee served as a leader in this state's educational system during some challenging times. He was a guiding force for the Kentucky Education Association following the implementation of the 1990 Kentucky Education Reform Act. This 1965 Western graduate was the first African American to serve the KEA as its president when he took office in 1992. A true advocate for children, the former Shelbyville math and science teacher's career may have been cut short, but his values and goals still live today. This year's next distinguished alumnus, the late Marnel Moorman.
There's nothing typical about a teacher, and there was nothing typical about Marnel Moorman. His love for children and his desire to see them succeed are what made him special. But it was his leadership qualities that made him the first African American to serve as vice president and president of the Kentucky Education Association. His wife, Laura Moorman.
On one hand, he didn't want to leave the school and the children because there was work needed to be done there. There were not very many African American males, so he thought about that. But I think he felt like that he could help more, or help more in that position as vice president. So that's what he did. But I don't think it was a hard decision.
Herb Owens worked with Moorman in the KEA, but they were more than colleagues, they were friends.
He came forward and adopted me and immediately started addressing a void that I had encountered. I was ready to quit the leadership in KEA. I was ready to give it up because of the hardships that I'd encountered. He wouldn't let me.
Moorman was killed in a 1994 auto accident. He was returning from a speech to a group of educators. He died doing something he loved, sharing his experiences with others, hoping it made them better teachers.
He wanted to make a difference. He didn't want to just say, I'm serving as the first African-American president of KEA. That was not. His first and foremost goal was to see how he can do his level best for the organization and for education and ultimately for all of the students of Kentucky.
Janet Carrico is the current president of the KEA. She served as Moorman's vice president and, just like everyone else he came in contact with, a friend.
Again, the patience that I learned from him, the ability to be able to converse with board members, to be able to comfortably meet with the governor or anyone else that at some point in time probably would be a little intimidating. Also, that vision of every child can learn at high levels.
She says he was the eternal optimist. He had a philosophy for peers and for students. Not 3 strikes and you're out, but 4 balls and you're on base.
Marnel believed that to give everybody the benefit of the doubt until they absolutely proved you wrong. And I think that was a part of what he meant when he said that, you know, he wasn't always looking for the fault that he would find, whether it be with his colleagues or with students in his classes, but always looking to give them every opportunity.
Moorman worked so hard in getting children to believe in themselves and give their best effort. And to get them to do that, he had to believe in himself. He needed something to drive him.
People, God, us, expectation of everyone. The people that everywhere that there was a strong feeling that Moorman could do it. He could do it, and knowing that people counted on him to do it, he did. He did. So I would say it was people in general. They expected, thought he could, and so he did.
He always thought out things. He had a vision, not only for Kentucky's schools, but for Kentucky's children.
To make sure that education in Kentucky was the very best that we could offer for students so that everyone at least had a chance.
Everything he tried to do as an educator was geared towards helping students to achieve. Not only that, he was interested in teaching the whole child.
If you're a Westerner, it's something special to know your alma mater produced such a wonderful individual. But Moorman almost didn't make that trip up the hill.
He had gone down with a friend of his from, I guess, from Muhlenberg County, and he just rode along. And Al Thurman in the finance department at that time, who was someone that I knew later, asked him, well, aren't you interested in going to school as well? And he, whatever had transpired that allowed him to be able to do that, then he went home and his mother was out in the garden and she was picking beans. And he ran out and he said, "You're never going to believe this. I'm going to Western, Mom." And he said she threw the beans up in the air out of the basket.
Owen says Moorman told him he wasn't afraid to accept the challenges that faced him at Western.
Marnel was just driven to give back more. He used to say that to me all the time, and I found a scripture that applied with him. He said, "Where much is given, much is required." That epitomized the way Marnel viewed his own academic experiences and his experiences as an educator.
To be so attentive to others' needs was stressful. He had to have a release. That release was his family.
He knew we would be there. He knew that we loved him and that we were pulling for him, and we would be there. It was like he was strength and we bonded, we worked together. We worked well together, worked very well together. And knowing that we were there for him enabled him to go out and do the things that he did, and he did it so well.
He wore a pin on his lapel, and the word said attitude. And sometimes he would, refer to this pen and he would, kind of adjust it. And I think it was his way to subtly remind all of us that we needed to adjust our attitude occasionally when we were looking at something. So I think, that's something I always think about with Marnel, that he really believed that if you had a positive attitude, that you had a lot better chance of working things out.
Moorman was often heard to say, "Appreciate you." After all he did for children, the world now says, "Appreciate you" to him. 1997 Hall of Distinguished Alumni honoree, Marnel Moorman.
Help me, Lord. Good afternoon. On behalf of my family, I want to thank you very much for this honor. I am very proud to be here today. It means a great deal to me that you have recognized my husband for his life achievements. I want to thank all of Moorman's friends who donated their time and energy in preparing the entry for this award. I especially thank Miss Leslie S. Smith, a former school teacher of Moorman who died this year. Moorman was dedicated to education and believed in his philosophy. That's what makes this award even more special. The fact that the school Moorman was so proud of has chosen to recognize his accomplishment makes it very, very special. Moorman recognized the importance of education in the future of our children. He was dedicated to providing an education to all children, regardless of the race, gender, or nationality. He was committed to human and civil rights for all people. That's why I am proud to accept this award. I am proud of his work. I am proud of his legacy, and I'm proud of the example he set for all of us to follow. Again, I thank you very much for the induction. One moment. Again, I thank you very much for inducting my husband, Marnel C. Moorman Sr., into the Hall of Distinguished Alumni. Thank you.